TBR JAR videos are back. That feels very dramatic because it's literally been only 1 month that I haven't done the TBR videos. At least I think. I know I definitely have not been very consistent with them lately. I did not do a TBR video for January or for March. So April is where I'm getting back on track. In some ways it was nice to not have a TBR to kind of focus on, to just be able to mood read or do whatever I want. But on the other hand, I really miss doing these videos because they are my favorite. It's also nice to just have a base of books to try and get through for the month. So I'm very excited to be back, and I'm not going to be too overly ambitious. I think I'm going to pick 5 books because I have not been reading that much. Reading 5 books in 1 month sounds like a stretch, honestly. So any more than that seems kind of like overkill, but it still gives me a nice basis to work with. But enough blabbing, let's just get right into it. I'm assuming that you guys know how this works. I have my prompts here. I'm going to pick 5, and those prompts are going to help me pick what books I'm going to hopefully read in the month of April. I said it a million times this year, but one of my goals is to get through as many series as I can. So the top row is full of series I'm in the middle of that I really want to work to complete. So hopefully I will get at least a few picks from that top row. And then these are my next priority, and then the bottom is really not on my radar at the moment, but I guess we'll just see what I have to work with. We're just gonna go ahead and get started with prompt number 1. We have set outside the US. I swear I got this prompt back in November or December, and I picked Beartown, and I think I might use it to pick the next book in the Beartown series, which is Us Against You. I feel like I can also do a fantasy series that doesn't take place in the US, or on Earth for that matter. So I could do Sunrise on the Reaping because Pan Am, well, is Pan Am supposed to be the US? I don't know, I guess I won't use that one. I think I have to do it. I have to use this prompt to continue the Beartown series because 1, I just really want to read this, but also it just feels kind of like fate. I picked the first book using this prompt, so I might as well pick the second book using it too. I'm nervous, but also very excited to get to it. And I feel like I've talked about the Beartown series so much lately, and it's really popular. But if you don't know, this series is general fiction, and it follows a small town that really centers around hockey. So for the most part, we are very focused on the boys' hockey teams, but something tragic also happens that kind of stirs up things in the town. So then we are following what happens during and after this event, and just how everything kind of snowballs after that. Book 1 was very emotional, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars, and I feel like this whole series definitely has potential to all be 5 stars. And there are a lot of characters, a lot of point of views, so I really want to get to this soon before I forget half of them or all of them. So I feel like this is a great first pick. This lighting was already atrocious, but now it's even darker outside. Is this better? Worse? I feel like I'm always asking that. I guess we'll stick with this. Okay, prompt number 2. We have an author I love. Well, I definitely could have done Frederick Bachman, but let's see what else I've got. I feel like an author I love maybe has to be somebody I've read more than 1 book from. I could do Abby Jimenez. I mean, I don't know if I would say I absolutely love her, but the 2 books that I've read I did really enjoy. I could do Iron Gold, but I just don't feel like I'm ready for that. But at the same time, I do like really need to get on that because I have probably forgotten so much, and I love the Red Rising series. It is just a 5-star amazing series for me, so I have to continue. I feel like I could say the same about ACOTAR. This is so hard. An author I love. Oh, actually, I know what I must do. I have to do Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins because this book just came out. Everybody's reading it, and I am dying to get to it. And like so many people, I love The Hunger Games. I reread them maybe 2 years ago, and they were just as phenomenal as I remembered them being, and I just can't wait to get back into this new story from her. I feel like everyone is talking about and reading this book right now, but if you don't know, this is another prequel book that is part of the Hunger Games universe, and we are following Haymitch when he was in the Hunger Games, which if you haven't read the Hunger Games or watched the movie or anything, you won't know what I'm talking about, but he is a character in the original trilogy who went through the Hunger Games and obviously survived. And it's a story that I think so many people have been dying to hear, and I'm really excited. I have been avoiding spoilers like the plague. I have not watched anybody read it, but I've just seen pictures and things and scrolled by, and I see that people are crying and really devastated, I think. So I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I really want to get into it. And it's one of those books where I really want to read it right away while the hype is fresh, and I have to get into it. I feel like this is the perfect pick for an author that I love because I've loved this woman for years. Pretty sure I read The Hunger Games, in middle school? Maybe even elementary school? Reread her a couple years ago, and her writing still stands the test of time. I still am a fan. I do have to say that I did not love The Ballad and the Songbird and Snakes. I thought that was really boring. So I really hope I don't feel the same way about this one, but I don't think that's possible. I think this is gonna be amazing. So this is pick 2. Third prompt is continue a series. This is perfect. I swear I did not rig this. The TBR odds are just in my favor. So cringe. So literally any of these, and I know right away what I want. Ever since I read The Prison Healer last month, I have been dying to read this book. I haven't really talked that much about The Prison Healer yet, and it'll be in my March wrap-up if I do one. But that book was definitely very slow to start. I feel like the first 3/4 of it definitely moved pretty slow, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. But the ending had me shook. I was so surprised and it just made me so eager to get to this book. The first one was only like a 3.5, but I think that the series is gonna get so much better from there. And I just simply cannot wait any longer to get to this book. This is another series that I feel like is so incredibly popular that I probably don't need to introduce it. But if you don't know what this is, the first book follows, what's her name? Kiva, who is in Zollendorf prison, which is like is it a war prison? What's it called? Oh, it's called a death prison because once you get there, you pretty much never leave. And most people just die while they're in the prison because the conditions are so awful. She's been there for I think like 10 years and she is a prisoner, but she's also the prison healer. And outside of the prison in the real world, there's like these kingdoms that are fighting, I think. And there is this rebel queen and the rebel queen ends up getting captured and sent to Zollendorf and she's very hurt, very ill. Kiva is tasked with healing her and she is also told that Kiva has to undergo these trials, which is basically their way of punishing her, and they are these deadly trials. There's 3 or 4 of them and nobody has ever survived the trials, so it's definitely a death sentence. But she receives a letter telling her to keep the rebel queen alive like at all costs, so Kiva ends up going through the trials in her place, which I feel like sounds like a very interesting plot. I love a book with trials, something kind of Hunger Games-esque. And I'll say you definitely should not go into this series looking for something that's like the Hunger Games. I feel like the trials were actually a very minor aspect of it, so I wouldn't go into it thinking that that's going to be like a huge part of the plot is the actual trials themselves, because it's not. And it was a bit slow, but I feel like the ending was so worth it and I can't wait to continue. I've just heard amazing things about this series, so I assume it's going to continue to just get better and better. And it's young adult and pretty easy to fly through, so it's just going to be a very fun time. And since I've been kind of in a reading slump, I feel like a book like this is really what I need right now. So I'm happy. Wow, we're halfway through and I'm loving these picks. Prompt number 4, we have a book that's been on my TBR for a year. Unfortunately, that's probably a lot of these. I really want to get to Two Twisted Crowns, but that one has not been on here for very long. City of Glass, let me see how long I've had that book. Okay, I did add it to my physical TBR at least a year ago, according to Goodreads. But I also already do have 3 series to continue. Maybe I should do something that's not a series. But what would I do? I could do Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which is a standalone fantasy. Guess it depends how serious am I about finishing all these series. I feel like I should have at least one book that's not a series, so maybe I'll do this one. I also really want to get into more of TJ Klune's writing, so Perfect Chance. The House in the Cerulean Sea is one of my favorite books. I loved it, and I'm hoping that this one has the same kind of whimsical found family, just the same vibes, I guess. And I feel like it will, but I don't know why I feel that way. I'm just assuming that he writes all of his books in a similar kind of vein. And this one is about a man named Wallace who dies unexpectedly and the Reaper comes to collect him. And he's like, wait a second, am I dead? And in this universe, I guess you do something called crossing over. Whenever you die, you like officially cross over to death or something. And he tells the Reaper that he has like loose ends, he's not ready to cross yet. So he's like assigned this man to help him, I think, and he's given 7 days to cross. So Wallace is gonna have the help of this man named Hugo, who's the owner of a tea shop, who's going to help him over the next 7 days, I guess, to finish things up and cross to death. I definitely don't have a great grasp on the concept, but I understand where we're going, I think. And it sounds like it could definitely be very similar to House in the Cerulean Sea, where it could be very sweet and heartwarming, but also be a bit tender, sad, all of the feels. So I think this is a good pick, and it's been sitting on my shelves for a while, obviously, so I would love to finally get to it. Okay, time for the last pick, and hopefully this is a good one because we're going really strong. I don't want this to ruin it. Let's see. We have a book with a red cover. Do I have many options for this? Just for the Summer has definitely a lot of red in it. I wouldn't go as far as to call this a red cover, but I think it's a contender. Same with The Great Alone. I think this is more like pinkish orange. We have The Only One Left, which screams to me red cover, but actually only a little sliver of it is red, and then the spine is also mostly red. So I don't know about this one. I guess it's just red and blue, and then the rest is black, so it seems very red heavy. I think this is all I have. So I guess these are my best 2. That thunder's pretty loud. I think I have some books that are more red that are not on the TBR cart, but I really want to focus just on what's here. And I really don't think I'm ready for this one. I definitely wanted to save it more for the summer. And I've mentioned this a million times, but I'm just not really in a romance mood right now. So I don't want to give this a bad chance by reading it at a time where I'm just not into romance, because I have really high hopes for this book. So I guess we'll go with The Only One Left by Riley Sager, which honestly I feel like is a good pick because I have not been reading a whole lot of mystery thrillers, and they used to be one of my all-time favorite genres, and now I just don't gravitate towards them anymore. I'm honestly not really sure why, but I feel like I need to get back into them, and Riley Sager is definitely an author that I've been wanting to try for years, and hopefully this book is a good place to start because I've heard good things about it. I think that it's loosely based off of, what was her name? Something 40 Wax, blah blah blah. Lizzie Borden, that's who this is inspired by. There's that rhyme, Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. I think it's very obviously inspired by that. It's It says, at 17, Lenora Hope hung her sister with a rope, stabbed her father with a knife, took her mother's happy life. It wasn't me, Lenora said, but she's the only one not dead. So Lenora is now really old, and I think she's living all alone in this house, like on the top of a hill, very isolated, and she also can't speak. And our main character, I think, is a woman who's coming in to be a like stay-at-home nurse with her. And I think that Lenora starts telling her the true story of what happened to her family via typewriter. So she is taking care of this woman. She has no idea if the rumors are true, if she really killed her whole family. And then she's learning pieces of information from Lenora herself, which obviously may or may not be true. Sounds very interesting. I feel like this could be really good. And hopefully I can just get back into the mystery thriller like mindset. I feel like lately when I tried to get back into it, I felt like I wasn't really being entertained. They weren't really holding my attention, which is why I couldn't really get into mystery thrillers anymore. But hopefully this will be a turning point and I can get back into it. Let me reorganize things real quick. I am very happy with this whole stack. Definitely the one book that I'm the least excited about is The Only One Left, just because, like I said, it's not really what I'm in the mood for, but I'm definitely in a huge fantasy mood, and we have 3 fantasy / dystopian, and then Beartown, which is general fiction, which I normally don't gravitate towards, but I love Frederick Bachman and I can't wait to finish this series. So all in all, I feel like really good picks. Hopefully these have the power to really help pull me out of this book slump that I feel like I've been in, because I'm just feeling very genuine excitement looking at all of these. I also feel like this looks like such a puny little stack, but I also don't even think it's possible for me to read all of these in 1 month. But I guess we'll just have to see. Maybe things will turn around and I'll be in such a reading mood. But really quick, let's just recap what's on the TBR. For a book set outside the US, we have Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. An author I love is Suzanne Collins, so we have Sunrise on the Reaping. I cannot wait to get to this one. Then to continue a series, we have The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni, book 2 in the Prison Healer series. For a book that I've had for over a year, we have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. And then for a book with a red cover, I know this is maybe not the best pick, but we have The Only One Left by Riley Sager. So those are the 5 books that are going to be on my April TBR. I will do my best to prioritize and get through as many of these books as I can in the next month. And a few of them fit really nicely into a couple of reading blog ideas that I have, so I'm very excited for that. But that's all I have for today. So thanks for following along with another TBR video. Hopefully after this, we will be back to our regular scheduled programming with the TBR video every month. But that's everything for this video. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!